Supported by legions of fans, you might say. And you might also say a couple more big-name warriors join me tonight. Veterans of epic productions like this one in their own boxing careers. Gary Jacobs, the former three-time welterweight champ, here to run the rule over the latest holder of one of his old titles, and also Spencer Oliver, the former European super bantamweight champion, who himself beat Serge Poilblan. Let's not forget that. But also no doubt that truly Charles Shepherd is the star of this occasion on his home territory here in Carlisle. Earlier, he held court in my nightclub. You're all invited later. Well, for any boxing people, I suppose it's a useful name to have, isn't it? What of Shepherd, though? He's done magnificently to turn his career around, hasn't he? And he's really helped create one of the biggest sporting nights ever in this town of Carlisle. Does two things well, projects himself well, but more than that, has deserved every part of his success. Dave Boy Green, one of the many well-wishers, now a British Boxing Board of Control steward, of course, and a former British welterweight champion himself. He's with us tonight, and truly big news in this part of the world. Shepherd's the big story on the back page of the local newspaper, but also on the front page as well. I suppose it's only fair. He's paid his dues along the way, Gary, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he is. He's well entitled to his shot. He's had 6 title fights. He's had a loss in there as well. He's the local boy, he's the hometown boy, and he has the credentials. It's like 1 loss and 5 wins in title fights. So why not? I mean, there's no time like the present to stick him in for a chance.
Is it fair, Spencer, that this is the sort of professional that other professionals will say, he is the example. He maybe has maximised his ability with determination and hard work.
That's right. He started out, he was a bit of a journeyman, and you know, it just shows what hard work and dedication can do for you. We all know Charlie is probably one of the hardest trainers in the game at the moment, and he deserves everything, you know, and he deserves this title shot that he's got at Johnson tonight, and it's one that I fully feel that he can win.
Tom Johnson's reputation as a former world champion of some renown has preceded him here to Carlisle, certainly. But Gary, surely Shepherd's camp feel that Johnson is now ready for the taking, and that's why they've tried so hard to put this production together.
It's always the same. Everybody always thinks he's ready for the taking. He's had 15 world title fights. The guy's been there, seen it, done it, bought the t-shirt. There's no time like the present for Shepherd. He's in his own backyard. He's fighting under his own rules. He's got his hometown crowd there. He's one guy that has everything in perspective. It's like, if you attack and fight and your fitness and carries you through, and if you're attacking all the time, the other guy has to defend. And as long as he can keep that up for 12 rounds, I fancy him to pull it off.
Well, once or twice Johnson has proven that age can be no barrier in his career. He's got to do it in a hostile environment tonight, but that again, nothing new to him. That comes later. 3 live title fights. The first, the British welterweight title fight tonight. Derek Roche won this title in Manchester in April against Charlie Kane after Jeff McCreesh had relinquished it, you may remember. Good fight this, Gary. Both men showing vulnerability under fire. What were your conclusions about Roche?
Yeah, I think Roche is as you win titles, you can become a better fighter. I think he's going to be up for this one as well. The one on Georgie Smith, he's a bit flash and lay, likes to come in. Again, it's his probably biggest chance to come and win a title. But we'll see, it's a 50-50 shot. But I still fancy just the champion to sneak out and win this one.
Spencer, I know you've been speaking this evening to Georgie Smith. His appearance tonight does mask a pretty basic human struggle that he's had to overcome, drugs problems, rehabilitate himself and try to put his career together.
That's
Do
right.
you feel he can handle mentally the demands of this occasion?
Yeah, I was speaking to him earlier on, and I really feel that he's got his head around this one. He's had a lot of problems, obviously, outside the ring, with, like you said, drug problems and everything else, but, you know, he knows this is his big chance, and I think he's going to take it with both hands, and I honestly feel that, you know, Georgie's got the sort of style to beat Derek Roche as well. Derek comes in, you know, square on, and if he gets caught, he does go over, and, you know, so it is a pretty even fight, but I'd lean towards Georgie Smith.
Thank you. At ringside for us tonight, our commentary team, Ian Darke and Glenn McCrory. John MacDonald will complete the introductions.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and welcome to the Sands Leisure Centre here in the historical border city of Carlisle. Tommy Gilmore and Ringside Boxing Promotions proudly present a night of World Championship Boxing, sponsored here by Stanix Park, Holiday Centre of Sullivan. And a very warm welcome to our viewers joining us live here on Sky Sports. you've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. The action takes place now for the British Welterweight Championship. Our supervisor at ringside, Bob Graham, BEM, and our matchmaker is Graham Lockwood. Our timekeeper of the bell is Kevin Waters, and our referee in charge of the action, and one of the world's leading referees, star referee John Keane of Northampton. Well, they are the officials, and here are the contestants. Would you welcome, firstly, the challenger. He's fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the white trunks, trimmed with red. He weighed in at 10 stone, 6 pounds and 10 ounces. He brings a 19-fight record, 17 wins, 12 by knockout, and only 2 defeats. He comes to the ring as the former Southern Area Light Welterweight Champion and the former IBO Intercontinental Welterweight Champion. From the delightful town of Basildon, Essex, would you please welcome St. George, Georgie Smith. And across the ring is the champion. He's fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the Wexford tartan trunks, weighed in at 10 stone, 6 pounds, 6 ounces. He brings an undefeated record of 20 contests, 20 wins, 12 by way of knockout. He comes to the ring as the current holder of the coveted Lonsdale belt in the welterweight division, the British Welterweight Champion from Leeds, the Rebel, Roche. Well, sports fans and Sky fans, here we go then, 12 rounds of boxing for the coveted Lonsdale belt and the British Welterweight Championship.
You both had your instructions in the dressing room. You know what I expect of you. Shake hands, come out boxing.
So this title, which has gone back to 1903, this is the latest renewal of first defence for the man from Leeds via Ireland who calls himself the Rebel, Derek Roche. A big puncher, but so too is the guy he's facing tonight, Georgie Smith, his first attempt to become a British champion at the age of 27. Smith in the white trunks, and Roche, who's put 15 of his opponents so far on the floor. 15 out of 20. He hits hard, and the word from the gym is that he's been looking very strong in the build-up to this fight. The champion in the tartan trunks of his native county Wexford. This could be intriguing, Glenn.
It could be very good. Georgie Smith has got the height and the reach, maybe the better technical ability, but Derek Roche has an awful lot of heart, and that could be the telling factor.
Smith has 9 wins inside 2 rounds. Roche only 4 inside that distance. They've been trying to work on Roche to make his skills a wee bit more sophisticated to go with the power as well. As you can see, Smith, St. George as he calls himself, with the reach advantage. Trouble with Smith is sometimes, for all his talent, he's just seemed to lack focus and look a bit sloppy. He's a little erratic.
Yes, I think in some fights he can be a little listless, and that's if there's not a bit of pressure on him. Well, Roche will certainly give him pressure, so that might bring the best out of Smith.
Good right hand from Roche. Little smile playing around the lips of Roche. Big chance this though for Georgie Smith. Can he arrive as a British champion here and rip the title away from Roche? Slightly against the odds, it would have to be said.
But Smith at this point just a little bit sharper. He's landing with the long jab and just picking Roche up as he comes in.
Roche trying to get close and let go with those big right hands, but that's a fine left hand again from Smith, who's just beginning to warm to his task and doing some good accurate work in this last minute of the round in particular. Maybe Smith shaded it. Welcome back to border country in Carlisle. British welterweight champion Derek Roche with a little bit of damage to the right eye after the first round. You're looking at Georgie Smith there. It was a decent opening round for him.
Yes, he was nice and sharp. He got his jab working quite well, and there you see a good right hand catching Roche on the way in. Just the sharper at the beginning, Georgie Smith.
Second round, tartan trunks of the defending champion Derek Roche, the rebel. There'll be a lot of fans watching this fight around the Irish bars of Leeds tonight, where he has a huge following. And he went home to his native Wexford to a civic reception and a big knees up and street party after he'd won the title, Roche. Plenty of fans around. Getting closer, Roche here, and letting go with some damaging looking left hooks.
Well, Roche has got to try and bustle his way in inside the arms. He's got to try and get past that jab of Smith and work when he's in there. But I think the difficulty for him is not being caught on the way in.
Roche unbeaten in 20 contests so far. Smith has lost a couple of times, looks sloppy against Rimvidis Vilias, and beaten as well against Charlie Kane, the man that Roche beat to lift this championship. Good shots on the inside, the uppercut especially from Roche, and another right hand, having much the better of the second round so far, the champion.
Yes, Roche caught Smith with a very good right hand, and that just backed Smith up, and that's allowing Roche to get in there and get his hooks home.
Ooh, left hook crashes home from Roche as Smith tried to get in a little closer himself. A lot of those punches of Smith just hitting the gloves. The more substantial work for me in this round coming from Roche.
Yes, he's just got his jab working better. He's starting to roll with the punches and getting through with much more accuracy.
This is the first of a great night of championship action here in Carlisle. Place is sold out, has been for some time.
Well, Roche just starting to work the body. That's something that I think is pretty important to his game plan.
Decent right hand there from Georgie Smith, who's got fans here with the flag of St. George supporting him. They've come all the way up from Essex. Smith, who does some of his training with the Leyton Orient footballers.
Smith's still working hard, but this has been a better round for Roche.
Champions round. Welcome back. In their careers, Roche has had 25 knockdowns so far, Smith 15. They can both bang, as they say in the business. And knockdowns against them. Smith's been on the floor 2 times, Roche 5 times, including once against Charlie Kane on the night that he won this British welterweight title. Championship that's seen some great battles down the years. I particularly remember with some fondness those 2 between Kirkland Lang and Colin Jones. White trunks of the challenger Georgie Smith. The tartan of champion Derek Roche. Just a little bit of damage by that right eye of Roche that he incurred in the first round. Nothing very much to worry about so far. Good body shots from Roche, and they may be key for him, and then a right hand that rocked the head back of Smith. He's looking very gritty, the champion, and really hugging the canvas with his toes, setting his feet for the shots and leering at Smith as they worked inside.
Yes, some very good work from Roche there. Started with the body punching, then good variety, mixing it to the head and a good right hand. But Roche really making Smith work hard here.
Looking pretty sharp, Roche. In fact, looking a lot better, really, than the night he won the title. For me, anyway.
Yes, I think he is. It's much more impressive sort of work.
Yeah, that victory was a kind of messy one, really, against Charlie Kane, who rather disappointingly fell apart. Was made to look a little fragile.
Well, I think this sort of fight suits Roche a lot more. Smith is prepared to stand with Roche and throw his own shots, and I think that's what Roche likes.
Georgie Smith, who's had to come through some well-documented drug problems. He was in a rehabilitation unit and said a lot of the things he saw in there frightened him and helped to get him back on the road to recovery, and all credit to him to get himself back this far, that he's in a British Championship fight.
Good punches again from Roche. The right hand over the top, working very well.
Blood from the nose of Smith. Just looking a little more tired. Roche looking confident and in charge. Well, that's the Derek Roche corner. They're just working on the eyes in there. Trainer Kevin Spratt, a former light welterweight, who's been with Roche all the way.
Well, it's those that right hands which are really rocking the head back of Georgie Smith. He's landed a few of those in this fight, Roche. And you just sense that maybe Smith is just starting to weaken a little bit, and the strength and persistence of Roche is taking toll.
Well, Roche's camp were very confident that they'd get this job done in 5 rounds. They'd looked at videos of Smith and they said it's a style we fancy. Which wasn't to denigrate Georgie Smith's work, but boxing so often works out to be a matter of styles. Smith struggling at the moment to impose himself. Just looks so physically gritty and strong, doesn't he? Has this presence about him, Roche. Good right hand from Roche. Smith may have to try to introduce a wee bit more lateral movement and look to box and jab some more.
Smith has used his left hand quite a lot, and Roche is getting the timing of that and coming back with his right over the top.
Smith still doing some useful work here and there, but not enough of it. He basically just looks, doesn't he, at the moment, Glenn, as if he's having trouble containing Roche.
Yes, he really needs to try and push Roche on the back foot, and I think that's a little easier said than done.
Crushing right hand from Roche. That one hurt Smith, no doubt about it. He covered that well, his head's cleared now, but it was a great shot. And he's in a bit of trouble here, Georgie Smith, and has to be careful that it doesn't come apart from him. Another clubbing right hand, which landed in that dangerous area around the temple that can disorientate a fighter. These look heavy shots he's getting through with.
Yes, he's just rolling forward. Good momentum now, starting to land well. And Smith is game. He's still trying to keep him off, but there looks a lot more power in Derek Roche.
It's been a good performance from him so far.
It's a very positive performance, this, from Roche. He really is, you know, acting and boxing like a champion.
Looks to be improving. Smith desperately just trying to hold it together, you feel, at this stage. There's a little bit of damage underneath his left eye as Roche rams home a right uppercut. Very much the governor, the champion, Derek Roche. Managed by John Selabansky, who was a heavyweight pro back in the 70s. Also handled people like Carl Crook and John Doherty and Frank Grant. There's what the computer is saying so far. Roche has landed 110 and Smith 86, but look at the body attack, 21-4.
Yes, that's the difference really. Headshots, they're pretty similar, but the body punching is all coming from Roche. But the better punches, the ones with the more substance, are coming from Roche. And you know, just looking in a little bit of trouble here, Georgie Smith. Roche just rolling forward, letting the punches go.
Roche, who got 7 A-levels, the Irish equivalent of 7 A-levels at school, but chose to go into boxing instead, much to the dismay of his parents. In the tartan trunks, remember, the champion, who must have won every round bar the first, which you could argue about so far, and I think he's looking to go in and get this job over with now. It's becoming a relentless onslaught now. John Keane says keep the punches up. He wasn't about to step in, and that's given a little respite for Georgie Smith. And if he's pro enough about it, I think he'll make the most of this break.
Well, I think because he's under the pressure he's under, he'll make the most of it anyhow. He does need a little bit of a respite, but you can guarantee that, you know, Roche is also getting a respite. He'll be straight back on with the pressure.
Can be allowed up to 5 minutes to recover, but the protective equipment is very good. There was another right hand in there from Roche. Smith cannot afford to keep taking these. He's blocking a few with his high-held gloves.
He's really having to show some character now, Smith, because it's very good and very steady pressure from Roche. And the right hand is the good punch. That's the one that's taking so much out of him.
And there's another one crashing home. One thing Smith does have, though, is a bit of punch power of his own. He hasn't really been able to show it so far. And remember, Roche has been on the floor 5 times, but really, a punch from right out of the blue, an equaliser, is about the only hope you can see for Smith, the way things are going at the moment.
Well, he's just looking so strong and so confident, Roche.
He's trying to pick the shots. Not an awful lot of substance coming back from Smith. It's funny, just winning that British title seems to have done an awful lot for Roche's confidence, doesn't it, and bearing in the ring.
Yes, it's a much better performance than when he challenged for the British title.
His self-belief in there seems enormous.
Well, that often occurs when a fighter wins the title.
Another one around the border from Roche. It was just about on the fringes of legality.
Well, I think that one was a little bit low, but the referee let it go.
Okay, the outer fringes of legality. Give credit to Smith. He's trying to hold on to his dream in there at the moment, and somehow hope he can get through the crisis and maybe begin to impose himself later on. But my goodness me, it's an effort for him. It's so hard for Georgie Smith. Many thanks, Gary. Yeah, I've got Derek Roche 4 points ahead at this stage. How about you, Glenn?
Yeah, I've got him 3 points ahead. Last one, just give even. He has just put his foot off the gas, and it's really whether he can lift himself up again.
But you don't need a degree in mathematics to work out that Georgie Smith needs to do something pretty impressive in these last 4 rounds. And I'm not sure he can do it. Are you?
I'm not really sure. I think he needs something very big, and I'm not sure he's got enough in him. I'm sure he'll try. He's very proud, and he'll want to hang in there as much as he can. But Smith's looked very strong and determined in this fight.
All Smith's really achieved in the last few rounds is to get the fight to be contested on a rather more even keel. He's getting through it a little easier, or has been anyway. But what he needs to be doing is winning the rounds pretty big.
Well, he's getting through it a little easy because he's elected to use his feet a bit more, not stand with Roche. And you know, that's all well and good. That's getting him through, but that's not getting him winning him the rounds.
Good steady work rate from Roche, and he's down. Body shot, and Smith in trouble. Looks at his corner, nods as if to say he's okay. He gets up with the count at the mandatory 8. John Keane takes a look at him, but a body shot. Now there's that signal, the beginning of the end for Georgie Smith. He was wincing in pain as he got up from that body shot. He's desperately trying to stay out the way of another one, and Roche is looking for exactly that.
Well, Smith is obviously aware he's going to try for body shots. This is where Roche should just have a little thought and maybe go for the big right hand over the top, just to get those hands back, but then go back for the body. Just don't show the body shots too much.
Smith having to eat up some more shots, and Roche stepping it up again. It's pretty one-sided this now. More body punches, and John Keane taking a very close look, I think, now at Georgie Smith. He'll try to give him every chance because this is for the British Championship. I think Smith knows instinctively he has to throw some leather, and he does, and gets through to the final bell in the round.
The crowd appreciating that, especially the bottle from Georgie Smith at the end, showing determination and fighting back for the last 10-15 seconds. But a big round for Derek Roche. Good body punch going in, just bringing the left hook around the elbow, the right through the middle, and then the left hook just round the side. A very, very hurtful punch. There, it just finds the gap.
And look at him wincing. Look at Georgie Smith wincing from that.
That one a little bit low, and Smith looking to the referee.
Well, look at that in the contest. 45 body shots landed by Roche to only 7 by Georgie Smith, a man from Basildon, Essex. Smith had done some good hard work as well in preparing for this fight with the former British welterweight champion, Geoff McCreish. No doubt that he trained well for this fight, and it's been a good effort from him, but it does look increasingly like it's going to be a losing effort. How impressed have you been with Roche?
Yes, I think I've been pretty impressed. He's done some good work, a lot more confidence. You know, he's really developing into a pretty rugged, rough performer, and you know, he's looking quite good.
Oh, left hook, right cross. Smith, all he can do is get the gloves up and hope that he can block as many of those as possible. For Smith at the moment, it must feel like he's trying to fight his way through a hailstorm.
Yes, and I think there's some big hailstones coming at him.
There's only one hope left, isn't there, now for Smith, and that's one, not lucky punch, but one equalising punch.
He's still having a little bit of success, but it's just really the solider work from Roche.
And it's been largely that story from the first spell, bar the odd round. A bit of tape's come loose on Smith's left glove. Good left hook from Smith. Still finding the odd riposte. But I think he needs a knockout to win. Now they're going to have to get that bandage sorted out, otherwise it could flick into the eye. Smith won't mind the extra rest. Got that sorted out now. 10th round resumes. Good little right cross from Smith, who's trying to lift himself for one last big effort. It's a great finish to the round from Georgie Smith, who salutes the crowd. Alex Gower very anxious to get him back on the stool. Goodness me, he's tried so very, very hard. He won't look back at this and say, well, I could have done a bit more.
No, I think, you know, whatever happens, he's got to look at this and say he did the best he could, because he really is dragging it out. I mean, that was a good round for him. He had the better of that. There was a break in it as they sorted the glove out, but then he comes straight back and worked so well towards the end of the round. He really is lifting himself when he needs it most.
But he needs a lot more of that. It's a pity from his point of view the round had to end there, because it was his best little flurry in a while, Smith. 6 minutes remaining for the British Welterweight Championship. Derek Roche in the tartan trunks the champion, a long way ahead on points, surely. Georgie Smith needing a knockout or stoppage, we reckon anyway. Roche may be a little frustrated, Glenn, that he hasn't been able to force the stoppage.
Well, I think mainly this is having to test Roche a little bit, because he's worked so hard through so many good shots, and yet Smith has kept throwing the punches back, and you know, he's still there. And I think, you know, mentally there's always the danger for Roche that he gives up a bit. He's got to keep at these attacks.
Well, even a little imitation of the Ali shuffle from Georgie Smith. He's still got enough about him to do that, but he's going to need more than showmanship. His eyes closing up. Smith finding out for the first time just how much it takes to win a hard British Championship fight against a proud champion. And for all his courage and defiance, the answer is really, so far tonight, he's just come up short.
Well, he's still trying to just push these punches out, Smith, but the stronger, more solid ones are coming from Roche.
That's good from Smith.
That one might have strayed a little low again from Roche, but getting some nice ones off here, Georgie Smith.
More accurate here too. Somewhere through these tired late stages, Smith loose enough to put together some quite languid looking combinations.
Some decent work with the left hook and then the right hand there from Smith. His work rate's a little better in this round.
Oh, big right hand from Smith. And again, this Roche, I think, was stunned by that one, momentarily anyway. Not dazed, but definitely shaken a little.
Well, you've got to wonder where he's pulling it up from, Georgie Smith. It's a great effort.
It's a tribute to how well he's prepared in his conditioning. That was Smith's round. But the fact is, there is no way Smith can win this fight on points. We don't think, anyway.
No, you wouldn't think that he's got a chance of winning on points. He really needs the stoppage, but he had a good round there. That'll fill him with confidence, and you can expect him to throw everything he can in this last one. Time is running out for him, but he's getting the better of these later rounds. Good little left hook and right hand there, just to finish it off.
There we are. We think in the fight so far, this is what the computer has totted up. 290 punches from Roche, 184 from Smith. I've got Roche in a big lead, 6 points ahead. Remember, the 9th round will have been scored 10-8, or should have been, with the knockdown. Smith, though, is the one with the 12th round experience. He's been this far twice. Roche never been beyond 10 before.
Well, I've got this a little bit closer than you, Ian. I've just got 3 points in it.
Only referee John Keane will decide.
And that's how I've got 106, 103 going into the last round.
One of Smith's best rounds in the contest, if not the best, the 11th. But Roche coming on strong at the start of the 12th here. He's swollen now under the left eye, Derek Roche. Blood from the nose of Smith. One minute and 45 seconds remaining. Will either of these two produce one last moment of drama here? Pity from Smith's point of view that he couldn't have boxed in the first half of the contest as he's done in the second. It might have been a little more even.
Yes, I think he needed a bit more movement in the early part of this fight. He stood with Roche too much and paid the penalty.
Yeah, mixed it with him. Maybe thought he had the extra power. Only the one knockdown in the contest, remember, and that was when Smith was on the floor from a body punch in the 9th.
This has been a good fight, exciting fight throughout.
Coming up to the last half a minute. We shall soon have our answer, and it'll be a sensation if referee John Keane is not scoring this for Derek Roche, the champion. Big right and left hook too from Roche. Bell coming up pretty soon. There it is. They hug in mutual admiration, but Derek Roche has retained his British welterweight championship, and deservedly so. It was a courageous effort from Georgie Smith, who refused to let the spirit die and produced some good moments in the later rounds, but it was not enough, and I don't think there was any doubt at all about which way the verdict was going to go.
No, I think it was always going to go to Smith. He had the good start, excellent rounds early on.
To Roche, you mean?
Sorry, to Roche. Good start, excellent round. You know, looked really confident and really strong, but then just started letting it slip. And Georgie Smith showed great character in what was an excellent fight.
And the computer underlining the verdict. Roche landed more punches, significantly more. And he looks to be an improving welterweight, Derek Roche. There's still a lot of rough edges that they're working on, Kevin Spratt and John Selabansky. Let's hear what the official margin was now.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 incredible rounds of boxing, the referee scorecard reads: for Smith, 111 points. For Roche, 117 points. The winner, and still the undefeated British welterweight champion, from Leeds, Derek the Rebel Roche. And to receive the coveted Lonsdale belt, we call upon Fred Potter of the British Boxing Board of Control.
6-point margin in favour of Derek Roche.
Crowd loved that one. Two more big fights coming live here, but first some reaction from Gary Jacobs. Is Derek Roche a worthy successor to you as a British welterweight champ?
Oh, undoubtedly so. I think that was a great performance, and also a great performance from Georgie Smith also. He could have retired at any stage in that fight and nobody would have had any qualms. But you've got to look at the man Roche. He went out there, as I said before, winning a title, gave him that little bit of extra edge, and to me, Adam, like, probably winning it by 7 rounds. Great performance. Boxed probably the best he's boxed so far in his career, and I think we can see him going a little stage further.
Thank you, Gary. Next up, it'll be the European Super Bantamweight title defence by Michael Brodie. This was also once the property of Spencer Oliver, this title, before Spencer had to retire so unfortunately. So now, this young man comes in your place. Is this, going into tonight's fight, the young star in British boxing?
I think so, yeah, undoubtedly. In his last couple of fights, he looked stale last year, but in his last couple of fights, he looks like he's adjusted to the European scene. He looks like he's adjusted to that level, and I think he's improving all the time, and I think he'll go on to bigger and better things.
Against him, Serge Poilblan from France, a man Spencer knows particularly well. That's because Spencer beat him when he was still an active fighter. But from memory, he had you in a bit of trouble early on.
Yeah, he was a very strong fighter, you know, physically very strong, not a one-punch knockout merchant, but a punch to respect. And, you know, like I say, he was very strong. He caught me early on there in the first round. And Michael Brodie, to beat this guy, or to have an easier night to beat this guy, he's going to have to box on the back foot, and I think that's what he'll do. He's watched the tapes of me boxing Poilblan, and he tells me that that's his game plan, not to get involved with this guy, because you get involved with this guy, and you know, he could make it a hard fight, because this guy doesn't know how to take a backward step. So Michael's best thing is to box him from the outside, and then if he catches him, put the pressure on.
Thought does occur though, if you are a boxer yourself, it's what you want, isn't it? A man to be coming to you all night, you know exactly where he is at all times.
Yeah, that's right, and Poilblan will not take a backward step, that's for sure. And Michael Brodie likes to come forward as well. That's why I think it's going to be such an exciting fight. But Brodie's proved now, as he did in his last fight, that he switched tactics when he boxed Salim Medjakoun. He switched tactics, he went 3 or 4 rounds, made it very hard work, boxing on the front foot, and then he switched tactics and went on the back foot and made an easy job of it.
Brodie, 25 straight wins. They haven't rushed him along. It's happened before that promising British fighters have got to European level, and then they've quickly gone for the world title opportunity. They haven't done that with this man. Is it the right decision?
I think so, yeah, because he's still, like he says, he's still learning all the time. He's proved in his last couple of performances that he's improving all the time, and there's good money to be had at European level. Like Michael said himself, he's only 25 years of age, and he'll pick up a few quid here, and then he'll go on to challenge for a world title when, you know, in another year's time he'll be a better fighter than what he is now. And, you know, he could possibly beat any of the world champions at the moment, but in another year's time it might be a totally different story. He may be the main man out there.
Thank you, Spencer. First things first, though, and Brodie has to do it here tonight. His defence is next. Very important fight live now for the European Super Bantamweight title. Manchester's Michael Brodie, the outstanding young talent, defending his title against the Frenchman Serge Poilblan. Here is John MacDonald.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, this is our chief supporting contest of this evening's boxing. Tommy Gilmore and Ringside Boxing Promotions proudly present the European Super Bantamweight Championship, sponsored here by Stanix Park's Holiday Centre of Sillett. And we welcome our viewers here on Sky Sports, joining us for the very best ringside seat in the business. All the officials have been appointed by the EBU in association with the British Boxing Board of Control here present with us at ringside. The British supervisor, Mr. Bob Graham, BEM. Our European supervisor from Bulgaria, Mariana Borisova. The 3 scoring judges, firstly, Jess Andresen from Denmark, Ulrich Hemmerich from Holland, and Kurt Stroher from Germany. Timekeeper is Arnold Bryson, and the referee in charge of the action and his 64th European Championship from Luxembourg, Roger Kreitz. Well, they are the officials, and here are the contestants. Firstly, and introducing to you the challenger. He's fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks and weighed in at 8 stone 9 pounds and 14 ounces. He brings a ring record of 22 contests, 18 wins, 6 by knockout, and only 3 defeats with 1 draw. He comes to the ring as the former French Super Bantamweight champion from the village of Ajaccio in the breathtakingly beautiful island of Corsica. Please welcome Serge Poilblan. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, is the champion. He's wearing the red, white and blue trunks and weighed in at 8 stone 9 pounds and 14 ounces. He brings an undefeated record of 25 contests, 25 wins, 16 by way of knockout. He's making his second defense. He is the current undefeated European Super Bantamweight champion from the beautiful city of Manchester. Would you please welcome Michael Brodie. So, sports fans and Sky fans, here we go then, 12 rounds of boxing for the European Super Bantamweight Championship.
I give you one instruction that you hit him. I want that you give me a good and a clean fight. Shake hands.
Could be a toughish one, this, for Michael Brodie. He's unbeaten so far. He's been in good form in recent contests after looking a little flat, quite honestly, during 1998. Still only 25 and determined to learn his trade properly before being thrust into world level. But this Serge Poilblan, who comes from Corsica, is a tough customer who gave Spencer Oliver a good argument for this championship. It's his third bid for the title. Previously he drew with Vincenzo Belcastro and had Belcastro on the floor. He's not known as a big puncher, but he has a punch to respect, Poilblan. But Brodie has prepared very, very well for this southpaw opponent. He's gotten a lot of left-handers himself, including Floyd Havard, the former world title contender, who's come out of retirement to help Brodie prepare. Also Noel Wilders, a British bantamweight contender, and Steve Conway have been helping Brodie out. Been very pleased with his preparation, but now he has to do the job. Brodie from Manchester. Interesting to see how this might work out strategically. We heard Spencer Oliver saying that this Poilblan doesn't like to take a backward step, but he's having to take one or two early on.
Well, that might be the key to really nailing him and pushing him on the back foot, because obviously he's a fighter that doesn't like to fight going backwards, but he's having to now, Ian.
Good shots these from Brodie, particularly the body punches. Maybe trying to take away Poilblan's strength of walking forward, see what he's like on the back foot. Has the makings of an excellent contest, bearing in mind the two styles, because Brodie himself likes to come in. Poilblan is the former French champion. He has a regular job back home in Corsica. He teaches people how to work computers and keeps his own record on that computer as well, and dishes it out to all the media people who want to know about him.
Brodie already is getting his jab off quite well, which is usually difficult against a southpaw opponent, but he is looking quite sharp.
Fair start from Brodie. We were getting a little bit worried about him, the way he struggled against Simon Ramoni and Brian Carr, the Scot. We thought he lost to Ramoni, in fact, but I think he's won that opening round here. Welcome back to Carlisle. Michael Brodie making a very satisfactory start in defence of his European super bantamweight crown here.
He's looking nice and sharp, getting his jab working already. There was a decent attack, but he's going to have to use his head and be wise in this fight. This is a difficult opponent for Brodie.
Second round due to go 12, of course. A multicoloured trunks of Manchester's defending European champion here, Michael Brodie, and Serge Poilblan from Ajaccio in Corsica, which is rather more than a village, as the MC announced at the beginning. Good body shots with the left hand from Brodie. Brodie has good technical skills. He hits quite hard. 16 of his 25 victories have come inside schedule. It's his second defence of this title, and he's held the British and Commonwealth crowns too. A thorough grounding being given to him by Jack Trickett, his manager, who's in no hurry to rush him into world class.
He's using a little bit of movement around the ring here, Brodie, just tucking up, looking to work from long range, and then quickly fire some fast combinations inside, and then be aware when Poilblan wants to come back.
This Corsican has never been stopped, though. It'll take an awful lot of stopping. If Brodie can do that, it would be an excellent performance. Body shots, very much the key for him. He's making it an uncomfortable night for the challenger so far. We spoke to Poilblan over breakfast today. He said he had no complaints about the decision when he lost to Spencer Oliver before, but he put up a good performance in that fight, and he did hurt Spencer early on. Good right hand through the middle from Brodie.
This is nice work from Brodie. He's not getting over anxious. He's taking his time, showing some patience, just looking for the right opportunity and picking his punches well.
Particularly the body shots, Glenn.
Yes, he gets in very quickly, and they look good shots.
Good right hand from Poilblan in close. One or two red welts around the ribs of the challenger. Sand centre at Carlisle, and it's chock-a-block. That fight comes up right after this one. 8th round of Michael Brodie's European Super Bantamweight title defence. If you're confused about these kind of in-between weights, it's at 8 stone 10 pounds. Between Bantamweight and Featherweight, it means.
Lots of signs in the last round that maybe a little drop of concentration from Brodie, getting caught a bit more from Poilblan. That was the first round I give to him. So Brodie needs to get back to his boxing and come back with some decent work.
Question is, was that a signal that the last few rounds might be tougher for Brodie? That right eye is getting worse of Poilblan's, though. Definitely marked up. I asked Poilblan this morning whether he'd had street fights as he was growing up in France and Corsica, and he sort of gave me a knowing smile as to say there had been one or two, yeah.
I'm sure he's had the odd little run in his time. Very aggressive little character.
But he's a very bright bloke. With his computer business on the go, as well as his earnings from boxing. Just dabbing away at an eye there, the right eye. And again, Brodie's got damage there. Damage by the right eye for Brodie. And it may be obscuring the vision too, because he's troubled by that. He keeps on pouring away at it. Now suddenly, there's maybe a little mini crisis developing here for Brodie, who's caught by it right close in too. And things are starting to get more uncomfortable for him now, Glenn.
Yes, certainly that eye. I don't know whether he's caught a thumb or whatever, but something is just bothering him there. He keeps dabbing away at it, and again the concentration is just falling away from him. He needs to keep it together. I'm sure the first one to sense this is Poilblan, who will start to up the work rate.
Well, he can see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, can't he now, Poilblan? Must know he's behind on points. Maybe he doesn't.
Well, these rounds are all...
Oh, he pushed him over there. Not a knockdown, of course.
These rounds are all a little bit close. But Poilblan has never been under any real pressure, so you know, he'll still have a good deal of confidence.
See, Brodie's brought this strategy of boxing his man, but that means he has to stay concentrated for the whole 12 rounds. And maybe there's a little extra hope in Poilblan's corner now. Ray Farrell working away. with Michael Brodie. He's gone back to him after his time with Billy Graham at what was the Phoenix gym. Now there is that damage. He's got a cut and it looks as if it's on the eyelid.
Yes, that's not good for Brodie, but I think what's worse is that the concentration is certainly going from him. He's trying to keep at this boxing. He started very sharply and now he's just trying to keep boxing and moving, and that's very difficult.
Now let's get the detectives at work here and see if we can see how this cut might have happened.
Orders, 10 seconds.
Was it there?
Well, that looked as if the heads clashed on the other eye.
The evidence inconclusive, I think. Here's the 9th round. Brodie with a fair points lead, we think anyway, but we're not scoring the fight officially. We thought Lennox Lewis was beating Evander Holyfield.
Well, I'm not putting that much in it. I've just got a couple of points in it for Brodie, with Poilblan just starting to grow in confidence.
Just got to get his act together again, Brodie. He's lost the plot slightly in the last couple of rounds. It's not a major problem so long as he rediscovers the thread, as it were.
Well, I think he needs to just inject a little bit more aggression into his work, just to sharpen himself up, because you know he's almost settled. You can see for this sort of boxing display, and I think by doing that, you know, he's just losing the concentration and thinking about moving all the time, where he needs to think about being sharp and aggressive.
Yeah, it's a kind of defensive mindset. It's almost like he's bored himself a little.
That's right, that's exactly right. That's where the confidence can begin to slip. He needs to get back to the aggressive approach that he had in the first couple of rounds, where he was nice and sharp.
But he's obviously taken the view, well, I can win this fight outboxing this chap and not getting too involved with him. Could have taken another attitude, and that is meet him head on and force him onto the back foot and see how he coped doing that.
Well, I think the boxing strategy is the right one, but he still has to be very sharp, and he has to look for sharp counters, where he's just a little bit too much in the defensive mode.
Decent defensive work from Brodie. Brodie's pretty friendly with Prince Nassim Hamed. Speaks to him a lot, quite apparently. Getting little bits of advice. They swap stories. Hamed due to fight Cesar Soto in defense of his title this autumn in America, either Detroit or New York, I'm told this evening. Maybe late October. They're still haggling about the date. It's taken forever to get the fight organised. Nazo actually knocked out Brodie in one round in the amateurs. And the lights are on the blink here now. Now they're back. What do you think, Clem?
Well, the rounds are getting a little closer and more difficult to score. I think he certainly needs a lift at this point in his work, Michael Brodie. He's just a little bit too relaxed. He's just losing that little bit of fire. He's got to start just lifting himself, or the corner have to do that for him.
It's only about a couple of rounds in it, isn't there? That kind of thing, I would think. Maybe that last one was even. It was hard to separate them. There's the computer. Brodie landing more punches, significantly more, according to the computer so far, particularly to the body. And the feeling is that Brodie's 2, maybe 3 rounds ahead. That's a sort of ringside consensus here, although the judges don't tell us how they're scoring.
Yeah, on my card 2, but I think if you look at the plan of it on the card, I give the last one even, the last 2 before that to Poilblan. So certainly this stage of the fight is going to Poilblan.
And this is the 10th. Goes 12, of course. Brodie back on his bike a little. Just doesn't look as if he's enjoying the exercise quite as much as he was early on, Brodie. Poilblan throwing plenty of leather and getting in closer too, and catches Brodie again and again.
I'm just glancing to the Poilblan corner. They're getting excited there, starting to clap their hands, and you know, they're growing in confidence a bit.
Could be that the judges may have it a little closer. No telling. It's not been a great performance, has it, really, by Brodie, this one? Not one of his best. I don't think the opponent's style suited him.
No, I think that's made it very difficult for him. A cagey southpaw, you know, who's aggressive. Just making it difficult for Brodie.
He's just found it really hard to shine, and I think now he just has to somehow come out of this with a win on his record again and keep his title. And that's not a formality. Poilblan still looks plenty ambitious enough in there and competitive.
He's getting through with some good hooks around the outside, which Brodie's having to take.
A dispiriting kind of fighter to be in with, by the looks of it, Poilblan, because nothing you do to him seems to have too much effect.
Well, Brodie managed to put him on the back foot there, just briefly.
Do you think maybe a less cautious approach, it would have been more of a gamble, might have paid off for Brodie tonight? He would have looked good and won maybe more impressively, or what?
I'm not sure against this type of opponent. I think for the most part he's done the right thing. He's just went a little bit defensively minded. This is better now for Brodie, getting more aggressive, scoring with more shots.
He did get more aggressive, and it was a good effort from Brodie. Crowd like that better. Now then, backstage, one of the top men in the featherweight division of recent years, Tom Boom Boom Johnson, now 35. Does he still have all the old skills, or is he on the slide? He fights local hero Charles Shepherd in a fascinating fight in a few minutes' time here. And this is what Johnson thinks about tonight's exercise.
I've been in well over 200 some odd fights my entire career, so there's no style that I haven't seen, no style that I haven't faced, so I don't worry about it. I mean, I do the best that I can do, and I prepare and focus and concentrate on preparing for Boom Boom Johnson and what's in front of him.
He's such a dignified man, and Nassim Hamed stopped him, the only man who ever has stopped him, but even Naz said afterwards he thought Johnson technically was brilliant.
Yes, a very good fighter. I'm sure still has an awful lot to offer.
That one's coming up. This is the 11th round of Michael Brodie's European title defense. Looked like he was skating away with it in the early stages, but it's just got a little bit more dodgy the longer it's gone on. Brodie more aggressive in that last round, just switching tactics a little, mixing it more, and I thought he looked better for doing that.
Yes, I did. Certainly it's the first round I give Brodie in the last 4. So I think that, you know, that tells his tale there. He needs just to inject that bit of aggression, and that will help him. And also it will make Poilblan think a bit more.
Well, let's see what Poilblan is like on the back foot. If Brodie can get in there. Inside the last 2 rounds. Both boxers cut in this fight, but the corners have done their jobs well. And the cuts have not gone on to play any major part in proceedings. Bit of a wild slug from Poilblan. There's nothing too sophisticated or cute about his skills. But he's a toughie, all right.
This is better now from Brodie, starting to pick it up, looking to land his punches and not just concentrate on the defensive work.
That's a nice shot from Brodie. Little roar of approval from the crowd. Brodie maybe just lifting it now that he can see the finishing line.
Poilblan just a nice little left hand himself, just reminding Brodie he's still there, still dangerous.
This is a bit better now from Brodie. He's just upped it a gear or two. A bit more urgency about his work. It was almost like he'd almost hypnotized himself for a couple of rounds in the middle.
Yes, I think that's what it was. It was like round after round with the same, and I think he just started to lose his game plan.
I think, to be honest with you, he'd hypnotized one or two people in the crowd as well. Brodie thinks he's got it under control. He lifts both arms aloft as he goes back to his corner with only 3 minutes to go, and he may well be right.
He's just found the answers again in those last couple of rounds, just taking the fight to Brodie, to Poilblan, sorry, and you know, some much better work, concentrating now on the body and then switching to the head. Found the variety and just slipping back into gear.
That's a good shot, wasn't it, from Brodie? That right hand, straight and quick. You were watching it in slow motion. Looked quick in slow motion.
Yes, a good lead punch with the right hand, straight from the shoulder.
Poilblan, incidentally, is one of those right-handed southpaws. Do you know how we worked that out? We saw him eating his breakfast this morning using the right...
Very technical, very technical.
Yeah. It's called clever stuff here, you know. Here's the last round of this one then. Brodie making this second defense of his European Super Bantamweight title. It looks at the moment as if he's just about doing enough. I think the corner have probably said, look, it's almost certainly there. That's not a knockdown. Brodie was trying it on. He raised both arms there as if to say, well, I did knock him down. The referee was having none of it.
I think that shows also he's just feeling a bit happier with himself at this stage of the fight.
Oh, a right hand hurt Poilblan and has put him on the floor. Good punch from Brodie, who's finishing strongly. The Corsican looking tired. Goes down. Remember, he's never been stopped. Brodie has 2 minutes in which to become the first man to do that. Can he find the punches? Oh, that's another cracking right hand, and he goes again. It was the right hand that did it. Brodie does a jig on the far side of the ring, and Poilblan might not get through this now. He stopped it. He stopped it. Michael Brodie becomes the first man ever to stop the Corsican and make sure of holding on to his European Super Bantamweight title. And after going through a flat period in the middle rounds, Brodie finishes explosively enough.
Well, he showed a bit of class towards the end. You could tell it had come back to him. He was feeling strong and confident, and then he just started to put the shots through. But he really needed that bit of aggression in his work, which he lost in the middle stages of the fight. And when he did, he looked a different fighter.
Here's the first knockdown. Great right hand there. And that shook him up quite badly. He was disorientated and had enough about him just to go down on one knee to get some respite.
Well, he's very experienced, but He obviously felt the punches.
That's a bonus, isn't it, for Brodie? Because people, I think, would have said, oh, well, it was a so-so kind of performance. But now you've got to look at it and say, well, who else stopped Poilblan? Answer, nobody.
That's right. I mean, that's the perfect result. You know, he just fell asleep a little bit in the middle rounds, but a good result when he got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute and 33 seconds of the 12th and final round. The referee has stopped the contest. Your winner, and still the undefeated European Super Bantamweight champion from Manchester, Michael Brodie. And please show your appreciation for a very game challenger indeed, from Corsica, Serge Poilblan. And to present the European title, we call upon the supervisor.
Well, it's his belt, and let's hope that it's going to be the springboard for Michael Brodie. But Spencer Oliver, who held the title, your thoughts on Brodie's display tonight?
I thought that it was a good performance. He knew what he had to do. He knew that he couldn't get involved with this kid. You see there, the guy was very durable, and he knew in the early rounds he didn't want to get involved with him, so he stood on the outside, done what he had to do, and then finished off in explosive style. So, you know, like I said before, it wasn't the most exciting fight to watch, but for the hardcore boxing fans, they'd appreciate what a good performance he put in. All right, he did look a little bit flat, but he done the job that he had to do.
The form book says Michael Brodie has had problems only when facing southpaws. Again, it happened tonight.
Yeah, he started well the first couple of rounds and fell asleep in the middle, and then finished well, albeit that's the first time Poilblan's been stopped. The only way you got to look at it is it's a world-class performance, and look from special things coming from this boy.
High praise indeed from Gary Jacobs. Next up here, it'll be the big one, Charles Shepherd's meeting with Tom Johnson. Spencer, Charlie Shepherd has got hometown support. He's got improvement over the last 18 months or so. Is he ready to take on somebody of Johnson's experience?
I think he is, yeah, because I think it's a case of Johnson, you know, Johnson's been to the Royal a few times now. He's been in a lot of hard fights. He's 35 years of age, and I think they've got Tom Johnson just at the right time. I think if you look at his last 6 fights, he's only won 3 of them. He's lost 3 of them. So, you know, it's the right fight at the right time. I think that Tom Johnson in form, it would have been a different story. But tonight, I think he's going to be Charles Shepherd tonight.
Gary?
Shepherd, good chance, good form, hometown decision. You'll see the same type of fight as the Brodie fight. He's very tough, rugged, comes forward. It just depends how much Tom Johnson's got left in the tank.
The crowd is getting noisy here, as you may be able to gather. When we come back from this, the fighters will be in the ring. The big super featherweight 12-rounder, Charlie Shepherd against Tom Johnson here in Carlisle. We're all set to go. The big moment so far in Shepherd's career, a career marked by improvement. But Tom Johnson has been there and seen it against all the big names in his class at world level. John MacDonald.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Tommy Gilmore and Ringside Boxing Promotions proudly present the vacant IBO Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Sponsored here by Stanix Parks, our holiday centre of Sylhet. And welcome our viewers joining us live here on Sky Sports. You've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. All the officials have been appointed by the IBO in association with the British Boxing Board of Control here present at ringside. Is the President, Ed Levine of Coral Gables, Florida. The Supervisor from Glasgow, Mr. Jerry Wooler. Our 3 scoring judges here at ringside. Firstly, from Holland, Henk Andreasen. From the USA, Dr. Clark San Martino. From England, Paul Thomas. Our timekeeper is Arnold Brayson, and the referee in charge of the action, and his 56th World Championship, the leading referee, star referee John Coyle from Wolverhampton, England. They were the officials, and here are the contenders. Firstly, and introducing to you a legend, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the blue trunks trimmed with white. He weighed in at 9 stone and 2 pounds. He brings a staggering 55 contests, 47 wins, 26 by way of knockout, 6 defeats and 2 draws. He comes to the ring as the former Featherweight champion of the world from Southfields, Michigan, Tom Boom Boom Johnson. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, he's wearing the black trunks. He weighed in at 9 stone and 2 pounds. He brings a 23-fight record, 17 wins, 8 by way of knockout, only 6 defeats. He comes to the ring as the current British and Commonwealth Super Featherweight champion from the historic border city of Carlisle, George Shepard. So, sports fans and Sky fans, here we go then. 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant IBO Super Featherweight Championship of the World.
Thank you, gentlemen. I've given you instructions in the dressing room. Let me just remind you, defend yourself at all times and obey my instructions at all times. Shake hands, back to the corners, and box when I tell you.
The atmosphere here close to mass hysteria in favour of Charles Shepard. It's a bear pit atmosphere for Tom Boom Boom Johnson to contend with, but he's seen this all before on his travels through 11 defences as the IBF's featherweight king. It's easily the biggest fight at night for the local man, Charles Shepard, who's proved himself top of the domestic pile. Is he good enough to move into world class, even though Johnson is now 35 and has been losing a few lately, including one to Junior Jones in his last fight, but that was a good one over 12 rounds in which they were both on the floor. Silky skills, Tom Boom Boom Johnson, a man not to be underestimated. Can Shepard cope with him? Shepard, who usually shows a obsessional devotion to work rate. As always, Charles Shepard in the solid black trunks and the boots with no socks, just like his hero, Mike Tyson.
And this really is a step up for Shepard, even though, as you said, Ian, Johnson is not what he was. He's still very, very knowledgeable.
Interesting to see what Johnson's attitude is to this as well. Is he here for the payday late in his career, or is it, as he says, that this is the second coming of Tom Johnson? They're fighting for the lightly regarded IBO World, in inverted commas, title here. It's the second division World Championship, just another part of the alphabet soup, but it's a very, very significant fight and a fascinating one for both men, this. Shepard on the way up, Johnson seemingly on the way down. What happens when their paths cross?
Well, a win for Shepard against a name like Johnson will give him a massive boost to his confidence and do the world of good to his career.
Both weighing 9 stone 2, but somehow Johnson looking the bigger man in there somehow, and Shepard finding it hard to get close to him, pouring away with the jab. Johnson will be adept at fiddling his way through and using his experience. One or two little negative things he's been doing in there, incurring the displeasure of the crowd.
Well, he's just using that experience. He's holding quite a lot here, but he'll want to do that. He knows there's a big rush coming from Shepard, and he just wants to stop that a little bit.
Tying him up on the inside. Johnson, seen it all, done it all, only ever stopped by Prince Nasser Mohammed, who produced a great right uppercut to do that job in the 8th round. Johnson complaining about Shepherd's use of the head. Welcome back to Carlisle. There were signs in that opening round that Charles Shepherd may find it hard to impose his will and style on Tom Johnson.
Well, he was certainly trying, but I think really it was very negative from Johnson, just looking to hold, and a few infringements there brought the referee's attention, but he just needs to start doing a little more work, Johnson.
That's good left hand from Shepherd, his best punch so far. An early success for him in the second round after a frustrating first session. The black trunks, remember, of Shepherd, the blue of the former long-reigning world #1 featherweight, Tom Johnson. Now living near Detroit in Southfield, but originally from Evansville, Indiana. Johnson holding on the inside and making it hard for Shepherd to work.
Shepherd very physically strong. You would not think Johnson could compete with him in the pulling and pushing department.
Can be dangerous with his right hand as well, Tom Johnson. This is a man who's got 2 wins over Manuel Medina, who's currently the IBF champion. He's beaten Troy Dorsey and Sugar Baby Rojas, Eddie Croft.
We've got to hope this fight can start flowing a little bit.
Body shots from Johnson, who started a little negatively, it has to be said. Looking to foil and frustrate Shepherd. He admitted to me last night he'd never heard of Charles Shepherd or the British and Commonwealth title even before he got here and took this assignment. Which is not to say he doesn't respect what Shepherd has done. That's a good right hand from Shepherd there.
Shepherd just closing the distance down, not allowing Johnson any room to work. Still a little messy with a lot of holding, but...
And Shepherd unhappy about something and complaining to referee John Coyle about that. Oh, it's a good left hand there. Shepherd has to be careful he doesn't get caught by sucker punches on the way in. Johnson's clever enough to take advantage. And there's a bit of a cut, I think. He's cut, left eye, Shepherd. Trouble for him in the second round as this fight boils up a little.
Well, I think that's maybe what he was complaining about, Shepherd.
He's saying he's being elbowed. Oh dear, it's a nasty one by the left eye, and he says, look, I've been elbowed. Shepherd is complaining bitterly. And Tom Johnson, well, there are 1 or 2 dubious things going on in there. The cut, luckily, is round the side of the eye, and the blood might not flow into it. Well, they've got Jack Doughty and Chris Fuller, and I think somewhere in there, Benny King is helping out with the cuts. Dramatic stuff.
Yes, it really is. He's very unhappy about that, and the cut looks quite bad. You can see that the blood running down now, even as they're treating it.
Well, it's a bit dodgy, this, isn't it, from Tom Boom Boom Johnson? It would be sad if this man, who was such a fine champion in the twilight of his career, is going to sort of develop into a bit of a sad old survivor who has to stoop to 1 or 2 things that are not exactly in the Queensberry rules to get through.
Well, it was difficult to see exactly what he was doing there, but he seems to be getting away with it, Tom Johnson.
It's been ruled officially as an accidental headbutt. Now, if the fight gets stopped because of that before 4 rounds are completed, we shall have a technical draw. They won't go to the scorecards. After that, they will. Just to keep you fully appraised of what the rule book says here. Not that they always obey that either. It's a roughhouse. Shepherd desperately trying to get his punches, and he does that with a good right hand. No doubt that Johnson's legs are not what they were, and maybe not his reflexes either. And he's been on the floor a few times too in recent contests. Incidentally, Johnson reckons that the hardest hitter he's ever faced is not Nassim Hamed, but Ava Belanio, a fellow he fought in Newcastle, who had him down in that one.
Well, it's difficult to say that when he beat Belanio, who was stopped off Hamed.
Yes. I think he didn't really want to give any credit to Nas, to be honest with you.
Well, I think that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. He looked as if he was hit hard enough by Hamed that night to me. Well, it's a mess, isn't it, at the moment?
It is. It's an awful fight. Shepherd just dropping his head. He's guilty of that himself, and he's closing the distance down a bit too much, and neither one is able to work.
It's a decent jab by Shepherd. Trying to wade away into the body. Just listen to this roar from the Carlisle crowd. They've never had a boxer that they can get behind like this. Shepherd has to be very, very careful, though, that he doesn't give it the charge so much that he's getting careless, because this man still has instinctive skills and timing and might just find one punch to break the dream.
Shepherd's pushing forward. There's not a great deal of clean work. What there is, Shepherd's probably landing.
Shepherd complaining to the referee that he's being held and prevented from working on the inside. Negative performance from Johnson. Frustrating for Shepherd. Let's take you back to round 2 and the alleged accidental headbutt. Was it accidental or deliberate? Let's have a look.
Well, to be honest, it didn't look a great deal that he was doing wrong there. I mean, Shepherd's as guilty as anybody of his use of the head. He's got his right down in Johnson's face.
4th round, due to go 12. Shepherd on a good roll. Nails Johnson with a little left hand along those ropes. He's not trying to work too much, is he, Johnson here? I don't know if this is his way of trying to pace his way through 12 rounds, whether he'll somehow try to pick it up later. What do you think?
Well, I think it's difficult for him because he's not getting the room to get his punches off. I think he would do, but if you look, Shepherd is pulling right forward, and there's no real room in there.
Got him with a good right hand there, Shepherd. Just occasionally is finding the room for the odd useful looking shot. The cut doesn't look too much of a problem for Shepherd. Done a good job on that. And again, octopus-like, the arms become entangled. There's no room for anybody to work in there.
Look where the head is of Shepherd. Just gives you some idea of where he carries his head. Very, very low.
And last they work on the outside. How do you think Shepherd should adapt to this situation? With right hand, that was a fair adaptation, and he's wrestled Johnson over. That's not a knockdown.
Well, I think he needs to give a little bit more angles. He's just rushing forward, closing his own work down. He needs a little bit more room to get his punches off and to step about a little bit. Don't always be straight in front of Johnson, step to the side.
Good body shot from Shepherd. Decent work with the jab too. Shepherd doing most of the work that matters. It looks that way anyway.
Well, Johnson finding it very difficult to work in this roughhouse-like tactics.
Well, another messy round really, with not too much room for the fighters to work, but Shepherd won't mind this because his training regime is quite incredible. He gets up at 9 o'clock every morning, goes for a run. In the afternoon he has another long run. He goes to the gym, he does sparring, he has a light snack. 9:30 at night, another 1 hour run. 11 o'clock at night, 1,000 sit-ups, then watches the TV till after midnight, gets up, does it all again. Fitness freak, Shepherd. You certainly should have the edge, you'd think, in that department. Not been pretty to watch, though, so far, in all honesty. That's a good right hand, though, from Johnson. Johnson, who in his heyday had this habit of, even if he had problems in a fight, he found a way to prevail, like the long-reigning champions do.
Well, in this one, he needs to try and keep Shepherd at bay a little bit. He needs the room to get his punches off, and that is very difficult to do.
There's always the question with aging fighters like Johnson about how much desire and real ambition they have left. Have they mentally settled for a twilight of career earning paydays? Shepherd again, decent right. Shepherd normally a resilient character, although Michael Ayres did stop him in 3 rounds and Justin Duco in 5 on a cut.
And Johnson's now trying to get his punches off, but it's still very difficult for him to find the room.
Not so much the fight in a phone box, it's the fight in a matchbox almost, this, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There's not a great deal of good technical work going on, but this is the sort of thing that suits Shepherd.
Johnson prepared to stand off now and let some leather flow. Shepherd got in with a good right hand to the body. Looks like he's winning the fight at the moment. Jack Doughty working in the corner there. Trainer of Charles Shepherd, who's landing more. There's the 5th round count out, 22-16. And a much bigger success rate, although Johnson actually threw a lot more, he landed a lot less. Interesting.
But it's not really free-flowing boxing, a little bit like I think is it the wrestling that comes from these parts?
Yeah. Shepherd looking as hard as Hadrian's Wall. Just the feeling going into this one that the British fighter looking for big opportunities down the road might just be a little too fresh and ambitious for the old champion. That may be the way it turns out. Or has Johnson still got something left in the locker?
He's putting an awful lot into these punches, Shepherd. He's not bothered where they land, he's just letting them go.
Beginning to get through with a few more of them as well now. Just at the end of that last round then, Johnson gave a little nod of appreciation to Shepherd.
I wonder if Johnson has prepared for a fight as physical as this.
Again, Shepherd crowding in for room and thumping away to the body. Johnson reckoned going into this fight, said to me last night, he was 97% he thought of the fighter who initially won his world title against Manuel Medina back in '93, but I'd have the percentage a bit less than that myself, wouldn't you?
Yeah, certainly. I think you just have to look at his recent fight record, 6 fights, and only won 3 of them to say that he's certainly not the fighter he was.
And Shepherd still has to do the job of beating him. He still will have his pride.
Johnson's managed to get a few more punches off in this round. He's starting to just let them go, realizes he maybe has to fight fire with fire here.
Oh, good right uppercut. Class shot that was from Johnson. And another right. The usual swarming all-out aggression from Shepherd. He only knows one way. He was in an absolute thriller with PJ Gallagher, which was voted British Fight of the Year a few years back. And he lost that one by the narrowest margin. He's winning this, I think, at the moment. Quite a character, this Tom Johnson, and well, some would say he's had some really tough times in his life. His father was murdered when he was young. 2 of his managers have been shot dead. He wouldn't be in a hurry to fill that role, would you?
He certainly wouldn't have. I mean, the season, he's had a rough old bringing up. It's been tough for Tom Johnson.
And apart from all that, he was partially blinded in his amateur days in a car crash. Came back from all of that to establish himself as the #1 featherweight in the world between '93 and '97. February '97 at the London Arena it was that he lost his crown to Nassim Hamed in what was a unification fight, in fact.
Well, that time giving it an awful lot to Shepherd. Just the last one where Johnson started to work and Shepherd wasn't really catching him with anything cleanly. The right hand of Johnson's just coming into play a little more.
Just thinking the same thing.
We're starting to think alike now, Ian.
It's dangerous, isn't it? That's not a bad right back from Shepherd, though. Again, sinking in that right to the body. There may be nothing too sophisticated about Shepherd, but he's so fit, he works so hard that he would be a handful for almost anybody. What he doesn't have is big power.
Well, I think that's a blessing for his opponents with the sort of style and strength and fitness that he has, that he doesn't have the power as well.
You have to ask the question, how much will Johnson continue to want this at this advanced stage of his career? There must be something ticking away inside with all those business interests and the money back home. Says, do I really need to be doing this anymore? Maybe. Or maybe there's something else that says, hey, I've still got it and I can beat guys like this. I don't know.
Well, I think it's very difficult when you've been the fighter and the champion that he has. Just to walk away, that's a tough thing.
Shepherd appeared to wince at something going on the inside there.
Well, Johnson managing just to push Shepherd back and push him around a little bit himself.
It is, for the most part, a messy brawl, but it's a messy brawl that Shepherd is getting the better of. Johnson breathing a little heavier in that corner after 7 rounds. He did have success with a good right hand. There it is in that last round.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Yes, that was a good shot, just showing that he, there's still a bit of class in there.
Seconds out.
If he can get the room to get his punches off.
Here's the 8th round. Fighting for this IBO super featherweight title. I don't think anybody's in any doubt at all that the #1 at this weight in the world is the brilliant, and I do mean that, Floyd Mayweather. If you haven't seen him, try to get a glimpse sometime next time he's on. Shepherd bundling his man across the ring. Johnson almost tripped up on something there. I think one of the advertising hoardings came into the ring, and the American just caught out there just a bit sleepy as they went back into battle, and caught by that jab with his gloves down. Starting to open up a little more here, Johnson. Apparently when he fought Junior Jones, the last round between those two was a real stand-up slugfest, as the Americans like to call it.
Well, that must have proved that he's still got the stamina, Johnson.
Shepherd probably relishing the brawl. He doesn't mind this kind of thing. I think the kind of fighter that would probably cause him the most problems would be a slick stylist with a lot of lateral movement that he could never quite nail.
Yeah, so somebody that's very, very sharp that can catch him as he comes in and sort of double up the power on impact.
No knockdown, just fell over Johnson's foot, I think there, Charlie Shepherd. That's a nice right uppercut from Shepherd. That was a classy shot. Johnson trying to just up the tempo, you sense, over the last round or two. It's a grueling and intense kind of affair in there. Not much in the round. Shepherd, who originally came from the coastal town of Silloth in Cumbria, now lives in Carlisle with his lady Sherelle. They met while she was working at trainer Jack Doughty's gym at Shaw near Manchester.
There's that nice little uppercut from Shepherd. Johnson trying to come back with an uppercut of his own. But the round's difficult to score. It was very difficult, a lot of pulling and pushing, and both of them had some success, but difficult to separate them in that one.
I'll tell you what's great, the support that Charles Shepherd gets up here in Carlisle. They don't have too many sporting heroes up in the border town. I think Stan Bowles and Peter Beardsley used to play for the local football team. Big names, but they've never really had a boxer like this that they can call a hero, and they're hoping for other nights with Shepherd, who, if he wins this, will have a version, albeit a rather spurious one, of a world title. There are, of course, a ridiculously stupid number of governing bodies around now.
Showed really loading up that left hook. I'm not sure there's a bit more damage to the eye. Certainly the head's rubbing about a great deal.
Shepherd's corner, they've done a great job with that cut, because it looked pretty nasty when it first opened up as early as the second round. It's opened up again now, I think, too. Shepherd trying to nail Johnson against those ropes and let go his shots, and doing it pretty well. Three right hands to the head from Shepherd. Johnson has to give ground. He's caught by another one, and another. Looking open, Johnson. Can Shepherd do what Nassim Hamed did and stop this man in Britain? That's pretty good stuff from Shepherd in this round. Listen to the crowd.
Well, the referee having a good look at that eye. It certainly worsened.
I think if he stopped Shepherd in this place, he'd need an army to get him out of here, John Coyle. It is bad, though, that eye. It's got a lot worse. This is a very concerted attack in this round from Shepherd, but Johnson is normally pretty durable, but he's looking very open to right hands now. Tom Johnson. The corner will want to get back to work on that cut again. This is all-out aggression from Shepherd.
I think he needs it. That eye looks very bad,
doesn't it? Fred Benny King in the corner will need to get to work. Shepherd, meanwhile, is trying to stop Johnson before the cut stops him. Shepherd's best round yet. He landed with a lot. Look at the crowd, look at his fans. I should add at this point, as we look at what the computer is saying about Shepherd landing many more punches in the ninth round, that if the fight was stopped now because of the cut, they would go to the scorecards. So Shepherd would be ahead, I would think.
Yes, you would think so. I've got Shepherd in a good lead at this stage, and that was a very big effort from Shepherd, and he had Johnson in a little bit of trouble a few times. The right hand was the punch. There you see it. Hits Johnson full in the face. He's trying to bring the hands down with body punches and then bring them back over to the head.
Corners, 10 seconds.
And that was a big round for him.
Seconds out. Round 10.
10th round. And between the rounds, Johnson was talking to himself in the corner. Don't give it away, Boom, he was saying to himself. Don't give it away. How are you scoring this, Glenn?
I've got Shepherd now 6 points clear.
Yeah, I've got him in a lead too, but I just wonder from that comment whether Johnson felt as if he was winning the fight. If he's saying, don't give it away.
Maybe there's a little bit more panic in Johnson than just the points there.
Charlie is the jump. One thing I'm fairly certain Shepherd will not do is run out of stamina. He'd probably go 25 rounds.
Yes, I think he could. He's very, very fit, very strong, but it really means a lot to him here. He's got great support. He wants this victory.
I bet he's got a standing heart rate of about 30. He's so fit. Really is a little terrier, isn't he, Shepherd? Has been criticised for being a bit one-dimensional. I suppose that is true about his style of fighting, but what he does very, very well. Punches work best for Shepherd, especially late on. Last half minute of the 10th. Great exchange.
Good shots from Johnson now, good right hand, lifted the head of Shepherd.
Just looking a bit open. Dangerous moments for Shepherd there. Still moments of defiance from Johnson.
Well, it's very close quarter work, but they both had some success in that round. Johnson, for me, maybe a little bit more. Caught Shepherd with a few good shots. He had Shepherd against the ropes and was content to stand and push him back, and Shepherd having to cover up a little bit then.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Thank you, corners. Thank you, corners.
Seconds out.
Oh, just look at that face of Charlie Shepherd. Round 11. I've got Shepherd 3 in front.
I've got Shepherd a little wide. I've got him 5 in front.
I think you can argue maybe about the margin, but I don't think there's much doubt that Shepherd looks to be on his way to a victory here. These are good shots again. He's got Johnson on the John Cole, the referee, looks on very, very closely. Eventually, the American using his experience to tie out Shepherd and finding a right hand of his own. This man would walk through walls to land a single punch, I think. This Charles Shepherd.
It was terrific determination and strength and will driving him forward. Excellent fitness as well.
His attitude is so professional. So much more so than in his early career when he came a cropper a few times. Must be something in those bananas and low-fat rice puddings he's forever eating. Cut looks bad again for Shepherd. But I don't think that's going to cause a stoppage in the fight. Not this late, you wouldn't think so anyway. Brimstone roughhouse, this one, isn't it?
It really has been such a physical fight. Very tough. Both fighters will really be feeling the effects of this battle for quite a while.
Well, you wondered how deep Tom Johnson was prepared to dig at this advanced stage of his career. The answer, pretty deep. He seems to want it, doesn't he?
Yes, he does want it. Certainly there weren't false words he was speaking. It obviously means a lot to him. He's been under a lot of pressure, but he still keeps trying to get his own punches off.
If he could lift this title, it would at least give him some kind of bargaining counter, I think, back home for purses for future fights. But the eagerness and determination and fire of Shepherd cannot be denied, and he looked an old man as he went back to his stool there, Tom Johnson. He collapsed onto the stool, he sagged onto it.
Well, I think this has obviously took so much out of Johnson. It's been a real brawl, and Shepherd getting the best of it in this exchange, letting the shots go. Johnson is back against the ropes, and Shepherd just pumping them arms, trying to put every ounce of strength he can into those shots.
It's nice work with the jab amid all the brawling from Shepherd. Heads coming dangerously close together. Last round coming up. Look at the crowd. They've been on their feet. It's standing ovation time now. They can only get 1,500 people in here. They've paid £75,000 between them to watch this, and they think their man is on the way to victory. And you know what? I think they're right. Unless Johnson can come up with something sensational.
Well, he said he had to pull it back from the brink, and he did before, but this really is something special if he can pull it back from the brink here.
They're used to dramatic finishes in Carlisle, of course. Remember the football season and the goalkeeper's injury time goal that kept the local team in the league. Judges are from Britain, United States and Holland. They'll decide. But Shepherd's done more for us, a lot more.
Well, they're furiously trying to get a hand free and work away inside. Johnson also trying to punch. He'll realise that time's probably running out for him.
Now this is an fight, you'd think. And Johnson can't really, you'd think, have too many more of these. Shepherd refusing to be dominated on the ropes, typically. There's a manic desire always about Shepherd, but especially so tonight. The win here will project his career forward even further. The winner, by the way, is going to fight Scotland's Ian McLeod. They tell me. Johnson still wanting to let the leather fly. It's just typical of the action that we've had the whole way, this. No classic, just a brawl. But I think it's a brawl that Shepherd has relished. Exactly the kind of fight in which he's likely to prevail. And we know he has prevailed, don't we?
Yes, I certainly think so. I think he may have picked up a cut above the right eye as well. Yeah. Shepherd,
he has
a lot of damage.
Looks like somebody's tattooed Shepherd's face with red ink. But I don't think he's going to mind too much. You're going to get the bell any second now. There it is. It is over. Crowd go wild. They think Shepherd has won it. It goes to the scorecards. And while those scorecards are being collated, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back with you with the decision.
It's been a thriller. John MacDonald will give us the result.
Ladies and gentlemen, the judges' scores are as follows. Judge Paul Thomas has scored the contest 113-115. Dr. Clark Samatorio has scored the contest 112-117. And Judge Henk Andriensen has scored the contest 114-116. All three judges are in favour of the new IBO Super Featherweight Champion of the World from the beautiful city of Carlisle, Charles Super.
Well, they like that here, as you might expect. Spencer Oliver, your judgment on that?
Yeah, I thought it was it was a tough brawling fight. It wasn't a lot of skill involved, but you could see in Charlie Shepherd that he just wanted the fight so much that, he maybe tried a little bit too hard, but I said before...
No, Spencer, he always fights like that.
Yeah, no, he's just a tough... There's no skill with him, but he's just a tough, durable, in-your-face type of fighter. And I said beforehand that it was going to be his night, and it certainly was. It was not the best Tom Johnson we've seen. He was obviously on the slide, and it was a good match at the right time for him. But he can only go on now and earn some good money defending his IBO title.
Thank you. Looks like Charles has even got breath for a word with Ian Dark here.
Charlie, what a win and what a night for you.
Brilliant, tremendous, over the moon. Just a bit sick about the cuts, but to be fair, it wasn't punches. It was all heads and elbows, I've come through it, I'm over the moon,
It was an absolute roughhouse in there, wasn't it?
The guy came to kill me. It was his last big chance, I said in the interview. World War III, that guy, all respect to him, hard as nails. He nearly went a few times, you got to admit that yourself. He was wobbling a few times, loaded up a bit much, not a vintage performance, got cut very early, a bit worried, it was on my mind. But they've held out, and I'm probably looking a mess. I don't know when I get back. But
you do a bit, but what do you think this has done for you and the town of Carlisle?
It's tremendous, champion of the world, what can I say? I'm getting a bit, overcome now, but just really proud of Carlisle, Thank you, Carlisle! Thank you! You're brilliant! I just want to say thank you to Dave Donnelly, Absolute Security, and Glyn Adams, Ellen Accident Assistance. Without their help, sponsorship, I couldn't have done this tonight.
All right, Charlie, well done. We've got to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sky, for giving me the opportunity.
I've never seen cuts